Crystal Things, the podcast where we are on some manifest your life.
Yes, ma'am.
Shift your mind and raise the consciousness type of shit. I am Christy.
And I am Mia. And you can consider us your spiritual girlfriends. Hey, y'all.
Hey.
Okay, so last week, real quick, we talked about starting over, but under the context, starting over in routine, starting over in life. You know, it feels like a new beginning, but in the context of post a spiritual awakening. So let me just reiterate a couple of things. One, you guys, it is never too late to be what you came to be. Like, you know, as you guys know, Christy and I are in our mid to late 40s. And
man.
And like we said in the last episode, I know that I have probably started life over in a different mindset, in a different emotional state, in a different spiritual state a few times. It's a great opportunity, so life doesn't seem mundane. I mean, you know, when you stop growing and feeling like, you know, it's all over from here, that is you literally putting limits on yourself and your life and where you could or want to be. So that's the episode we're talking about. So guys, remember, it's just never too late. So what are we talking about today, Christy?
Yes, take the limits off. So today we are talking about cry it out. So for those of you who have been listening to our podcast for some time, you know I've been very honest about not necessarily allowing myself the freedom to cry. But more recently, I've allowed myself to cry and to be vulnerable, because usually I would fight it. And I've been doing a lot of like tracing back conversations that I had as a child. My father telling me, you got to toughen up, you can't let people talk, see you crying. My mother telling me that she doesn't let men see her cry. She'd go to the bedroom, the bathroom, wherever you need to. She was like, whatever you need to do, you don't let people see you cry. And so I've learned to have this very stoic way of doing things, which isn't good, because crying it out and letting your body release that energy, it's for a purpose. And so we're going to talk about that today.
I wanted to, I remember being so disappointed with myself that I couldn't hold back my tears. I just feel like, damn, like I do not want to be crying in front. I
remember that too.
I couldn't. I couldn't make it to the bathroom if something would happen and it would just trigger, it's coming. Now I'm like, I don't care.
It is what it is.
You're going to get these hot tears.
Yeah. But I remember that, like being, going through bullying in high school and having the girls like come into my classroom and trying to start a fight with me, knocking the books out of my hand, and me, I have, and that's probably why I have this other side of rage, but I didn't do anything because I remember my parents, you're a young lady, you don't fight, we didn't raise you to fight, you turn the other cheek, go tell a teacher, do this. I did all the things, yet I was still being picked on, and it doesn't feel good.
No.
And I wanted to fight back, but I was in band, and then I was also on drill team, so I didn't want to get kicked off the team, and then also my parents would be so disappointed, so I would always turn the other cheek, and I would have these moments where I would black out, and I could just see myself picking up the book and just beating
to a bloody pulp
and just not stopping.
Yeah. No, and seriously, when you hold back emotions like that, people don't understand. Good, like, you're kind of creating. Every action has an equal and opposite reaction,
right.
And when you bind that reaction, y'all have no idea what you're creating.
That's not good.
Like, seriously. And if you guys ever, let me say this, I am by no means justifying people who turn into homicidal maniacs.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
However, when you listen to some of the stories, quite a few, I don't want to say all, but a majority of the stories of people who all of a sudden snap, it didn't come from nowhere. You know what I mean? Like, for real, it did. They just didn't pop. They didn't just say, "Oh, you know what?
I might be on that snapping list."
Right. It didn't come from. I decided I went to unalive people today. It doesn't happen like that. It is just.
Like, I just woke up in the mood.
It's just like, you're on the Dunkin' Donuts drive-thru and somebody bumps your car or the lady is rude. You're like, you know
Last
what?
straw.
This was the last one. So, but oftentimes it's from people who don't allow themselves to give that equal
Right.
and opposite reaction. Or, and they're not in a space yet where they can say, oh, that's your problem, not mine. And it takes a lot of work to get there. So what actually happens, we just bind how we really feel. We don't allow ourselves to feel it. And boy, I'm telling you, that's
Whew.
that ain't what's up.
I'm realizing that it's important to release. That's energy. And we talk about energy before. Energy needs to move. It needs to constantly flow. And you don't want to hold something like that back. So let's talk about it.
Think of it as a dam. You build a dam, and what happens when the dam breaks? Y'all out here doing beaver work on your emotions.
Stop that.
Don't be emotional beavers, guys. Okay.
So I shared how lately I have been getting in touch with my emotions, and I'm realizing that instead of like feeling weak when I cry, or instead of feeling vulnerable, I'm really starting to feel strength behind it. Because before there would be this fear that would basically dictate my emotions, and now I've gotten to a point where I have developed this endurance and the strength to feel those feelings and not be afraid of them. Whereas before, like I would always push them away, like I don't have time for that. But now I've gotten to this place where I feel like I'm finding strength in my tears.
So, would you mind sharing with the class? No. No, seriously, would you mind sharing what it is that, to the degree that you feel comfortable, what has happened in your life, or where are you in a new space that allows you to feel comfortable where you didn't feel comfortable before?
I'm spending a lot of time with myself and understanding how I tick, understanding why I do certain things, taking accountability for my actions, really leaning into my intuition and realizing that emotions, and I think we had this conversation too, we have emotions for a reason.
Energy and motion.
Right. And it's important for that energy to flow. Like I said, you don't want to, and that's one of the reasons why I love being a Reiki practitioner, is I help people and their energy to flow.
Yes.
And I always tell them, you don't want to have that stagnant energy, because stagnant energy will become and manifest into something else. And I realized that that's something I've been doing.
So, do you think it's a place that you came to without necessarily saying, I'm going to do this now? It's just you kind of just realize, hey, this is happening, and I'm gonna allow it to keep going.
Yeah. Whenever something comes up, I pause. I don't just dismiss it right away, because that's what I used to do. But I pause and I say, okay, what am I feeling? And let's sit with it for a little bit. And why am I feeling these emotions? And really kind of tracing that back, like where are these feelings coming from? Why do I feel this way? But yeah, it wasn't a matter of, oh, I'm going to allow myself to cry. It just kind of naturally happened because I've spent so much time with myself.
And this is just my opinion, I think that emotional strength is truly a strength. I always say, it's my superpower, to be quite honest. I think when you allow yourself to be authentic, vulnerable, and embrace your emotions, it frees something within you, and that you keep a flow going instead of creating this stagnation. And it's like you're being open and honest with yourself, that allows you to truly see pieces of yourself that you would block because you block the emotions. We don't understand. Like Christy said, we have emotions for a reason.
Yes, we do.
Sorry.
What? Oh my gosh. River.
Sorry, guys. I think River is showing that he likes his emotion.
I'm like, where is this? What is this touching my leg? And then I feel the nails.
River, get down. Sorry, guys.
No, it's fine.
Accepting your emotions. This is real talk. Because think about this. A lot of diseases that affect our body are caused by stress. Oftentimes, stress is caused by blocking emotional flow. So when we have improved emotional regulation, it's actually helpful for our own health, your body health. Improved emotional balance, fewer mood swings, but also the diseases that are caused by stress that just pop up out of nowhere.
Yeah,
You
that's
guys,
true.
so much of it has to do with our energy. And if we don't allow our energy to be in motion, we create blockages.
Yes, we do. So let's talk about some of the, we're not going to talk about the spiritual benefits of crying, but let's just talk about like the physical benefits of crying. So you imagine you all are, going through something or feeling stress, and then you've, this was last week, or maybe this was earlier this week. Oh, no, I think it was last week. I was on the phone with Shopify trying to fix some stuff with my website because they charge me extra. And you can't call them anymore. You have to go through this chat. And then if you don't quickly respond to the chat, then you'll get canceled or you'll get dropped off. And all I just wanted was my money back.
I want my money back.
Right. So I had a moment where I cried and I felt, of course the situation wasn't resolved, but I felt better. There was a load that was released. I wasn't feeling as tense as I was.
So you think, it is a release, honestly.
It's a release.
Let me say this. I honestly can't think of one time where I have allowed myself to cry, especially in the moments when I'm by myself, where I have not felt better. Now, let me make sure that I'm clear. I'm not saying it solves any problems, but there is something about the release that allows me to think.
It clears up some space.
It
just like you were saying with the
dam.
dam. It's a release, and it's like, okay, now I can focus. Now I can function.
Yes.
I just had to get that out.
Because when you are when you're blocking the tears and blocking the emotional flow, your body is literally focusing on that as opposed to finding a solution. Just like, no, I gotta figure this out. But just like when I cry, I'm like, whew, okay, all right, what are we talking about here?
Right. And also, I do feel like crying does put you in the present moment too, because you are you are there in that space with the emotions, which is interesting because when I would dismiss it, I don't have time for that because I'm focusing on the future. I have some place to go. I have something to do. But I do feel like crying does allow you to really be in the present moment.
I like that, Oh my goodness, I've been quoting my mom way too much. Crying allows you to be where your
Not
feet
too
are.
much.
Just be where your feet are. Also, it brings you some, okay, so scientifically, medically, I don't want to say medically, scientifically, when you cry, it releases oxytocin. And oxytocin is considered one of our happy hormones, along with, endorphins, and what's the other one? Crap. Serotonin. Bam.
There you go.
So, which I think is really interesting. And think about, for any of our ladies out there who have had children, oxytocin it also helps us during labor.
Yes. That I remember.
I actually remember them giving me Pitocin, which is a type of oxytocin.
I remember that too.
But and that is also something that's released when you are highly attracted to someone. Oxytocin is produced. So I think it's a beautiful thing that when we think about it, the same thing that is produced in your body when you are crying and releasing this emotional energy is produced in your body when you are finding yourself romantically, physically, or sexually attracted to somebody. I think that's beautiful. It says a lot about what the power of allowing yourself to be vulnerable, because when there's an attraction there and you allow it to be, that's vulnerability as well.
That's true. But I do like the fact that you said, because I had a conversation with a woman who recently went through a really terrible breakup and came to me for Reiki, and she said something about her crying, and I said, no, that's your superpower. You know, that is, celebrate it, don't hide it. And she was sending me something about crying and the importance of crying, and it was so true. Like we really need that release, and it helps to create some space to allow us to expand even more, you know?
Wait. So another reason that we're doing this episode is that one of our queens, our fellow listeners, our fellow queens, sent us this post. It's actually true though, about
The Generation
X, and being taught not to cry, and the post was actually really true.
It was.
And when you think about it, and I don't necessarily want to get into the generational wars, guys, because there's nothing to really fight about. Gen X is the best. But anyway, no. But seriously, it we are a product of our environment for as long as we allow ourselves to be. When we come into awareness of the power of what and who we are and how to create ourselves, then things change. But for the most part, we are a power of our environment as we're growing up. How many times have you seen your parents cry?
Very rarely.
So, growing up, I think, I would see mom like tear up in church. Now she's like a whole, she cries about everything. But growing up and my dad, I've seen his eyes well up maybe once. But I cannot recall a time I've ever seen a tear fall down his face.
I've seen my father cry. It was for things that he was going to miss my high school graduation. He felt really bad about it. He cried, but I didn't really see my parents cry.
And so if you are in a situation where, your parents are your role models, consciously and unconsciously, because even if they're not someone that you necessarily looked up to, they are modeling behavior for us. And especially when you're looking at your parents as, someone that you do look up to. And I definitely do remember my father telling me to never, you do not cry at work, especially in front of men. And he said, the sad part about it is that oftentimes women will weaponize tears in places where...
Yeah.
No, seriously, women have weaponized...
I've done it.
See, this, I'm people gonna think I'm crazy. I actually have, anytime I have cried, it's been for real. And it would make me cry harder, especially if I'm, in a situation with a guy and it's like they don't believe it's real because women have weaponized tears. It's just like, so now I'm feeling butt naked, emotionally, so vulnerable. And then I have to convince you that it's real. That is the worst freaking feeling on earth. That is like, I don't even, what? Like why is this about me having to defend the authenticity of how I feel right now as opposed to addressing what the tears are about? I really, 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 really didn't like that. Tears come too easy for me when I'm emotional. You know what I mean? Like when I'm emotional, I don't have to.
I learned at an early age. I'm the youngest of three. I learned at an early age to weaponize my tears.
She said, did that work for y'all? And action.
Yep.
Oh, it wouldn't have worked in my house anyway. You like, you good? Okay. Okay.
Next.
But I also want to say that, just speak on it spiritually. I think y'all are going to laugh at me, but I think tears are a gift. And I think spiritually, they are, honestly, in some spiritual practices, it is believed that that's one way that God shows himself through you is through tears. Especially if that those tears come within spiritual practice. I don't know if you've ever experienced this, Christy. Like, I have been meditating and I'm crying, and there is not it's like the water's just coming down, and it's almost like, oh my goodness, I didn't realize that this was happening. But I am in full what I would describe as conversation with I am, and it's something. And to me, I don't know what it is. It's almost like a confirmation that God's in the room. It feels something. The energy feels different. And nothing else. My body doesn't know how to do anything else but to allow it to happen. And it's not like, you know how when you cry, it's like it's just happening. So I do think that spiritually, your tears are, for me, tears are a gift of confirmation for me.
You know, I heard somewhere or read somewhere that tears, and I'm probably gonna mess this up, or I'm not. I'm misremembering. But tears, when they were, when a scientist kind of looked at them, the different emotions, the tears had different type of like chemistry.
Oh, wow.
So like happy tears had a certain type of chemistry. You know, angry tears had a certain type of chemistry. Sadness had a certain type of chemistry, which is, you know,
that's interesting. I'm going to say, I actually totally could believe that is true, because when you think about
the Japanese water guy, like
yes, that's what I was like, what
Sorry,
is the water experiment? I was trying to remember the name. Yes. And oftentimes tears can come when you can't articulate what is happening with you.
Yes, that happens to me. When I
can't articulate. Yeah. And sometimes that is joyful. Sometimes it's expansion. And sometimes it can be painful. But it's like, I can't articulate this. And the only thing that my body knows how to do is cry.
That happens to me when I feel that, when I feel lower vibrational energy. You know, I'll get goosebumps, I'll get chills, and then my eyes just start watering.
Really? See, so okay. So you guys, seriously, you know your body. You know who you are and how it is that your system responds to environment. So this is something to not ignore about yourself, because this is your body always telling you what's happening. So for me, and so we're just kind of the opposite of tears. I get immediately still, and I start looking around when I know lower vibrational energy is around me. I mean, immediately, like everything in my body stops, and I'm like, I mean, I can feel it around, but when I feel light energy tears.
That too, yeah.
Like I can oh my goodness. Like I have been around people before, and I can feel myself trying to stop myself. Like, I don't know why I want to cry. And I know why. It's because the energy of this person. There's been a couple times I'm like, there's no way this person's not a walking angel. Because the glow coming from within will bring tears to your face. And sometimes, I got one even better. Sometimes you can be around a friend or a family member, and you know at that moment Spirit is speaking through them. It's like, yeah, you don't even know who's talking right now, but I can see.
I've had those moments where my eyes do well up. Yeah, on the opposite sides of the spectrum. If it's that dark energy, you're very light.
Yeah, but trust your body. Listen to listen to it when it's speaking to you, and see when it is. Pay attention to when, when tears come and when they don't come. What does that mean for you? I love the idea that whatever emotion triggered the tears, that there's a different chemical composition for that. That's actually beautiful.
It just reminds me how amazing the human body is.
Amazing.
It's just this. And my father, growing up, he would always talk about, the human body is it's this smart, this intelligent machine. It's a machine. He's like, look, I can move my fingers. Look, it's just with my mind. That's magic.
Like the precision of the universe, because our body is essentially, is composition of the universe. So the precision of the universe. If we had just a little less gravity, just a little bit, there would be no stars and everything, you know what I mean, and planets. It would just all kind of fall apart. And if the gravity was just a little more dense, we would crumble into a ball. So the precision of how everything in this universe, as with your body, is exactly as it's supposed to let you know there is a creator. I don't care what you call him.
Mm-hmm.
God,
it's so amazing.
Universe, spirit, right. But the truth of the man, and this is honestly, you prove this scientifically, off by just a teeny, this world does not exist, and neither do you. So when our body does something, and we are still here, know that it is created to do, to tell you something. We just have to listen to ourselves. And I think tears are such a powerful tool and language for us to hear ourselves.
Yeah. Tears can also be like a calibrator too. Like that's one of the things, and we've had this conversation, you probably forgot, but when I feel that lower vibrational energy, my eyes just water. I've always been that way from as young as I can remember. I've always been that way. But on the other end of the spectrum, when it's light energy, because there was the time during meditation, it hasn't happened since, but I saw like Gabriel came to me. And it was one of the most beautiful experiences I've ever had, and I cried.
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
it wasn't just like we talked about it, the tears. So I do say that I do believe that tears also serve as a calibrator for us.
Yeah.
To let us know.
So and okay, so guys, the holidays are coming up, right? And for many people it can bring up a lot of emotions, because for some reason, well, we know why, but during the holidays, if we are alone with ourselves, oftentimes that aloneness feels, that silence, being alone feels heavier.
Yeah, for some people.
For some people during this time than it feels normally, everything looks like everything's jolly and good and happy, and I'm supposed to be, people feel like we're supposed to be out and about and mingling. And oftentimes if we don't feel like we're in a space to do that, or we haven't found our tribe, or we are disconnecting from people during this time, it can feel a little heavier. And I would encourage you, whatever it is that you need to do during this time, to give yourself some emotional release. Cry. Just let it happen.
Like I was on the phone.
Yourself to sleep is
man,
the shit,
when I was on the phone calling my bank, I just burst into tears. I'm like, oh, well, you're going to think I'm crazy. But anyway, I'm frustrated.
I'm upset, yes.
Yep.
But it happens. And then you want to talk about some mental health issues?
Oh my goodness. Those are, you don't want to suppress the emotions. Like Mia was saying, emotions are energy in motion, and holding them in can cause anxiety, depression. It can really jack us up. And I'm realizing that. Look, don't do like I do. Let the tears flow.
I say do as I say, not as I do.
Because I'll be the first. I don't have time for that. I got this to do. I gotta go there. But now it's like, okay, why am I feeling this? Let's deal with this.
Wait, you guys, really quick. So we, what did we do? Last week we recorded our first live
That was fun.
episode.
Yeah.
So we're starting to do them every other week. So you guys put it in your calendars. Join us on YouTube, on our YouTube channel at Two Queens and Crystal Things on YouTube, and we will be live Wednesday at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time.
Yeah.
Again, join us next Wednesday. What is that date?
Come
Christy?
on now.
Right.
Hold on. Today? I can pull it up real quick.
And we will be live, having some fun with you guys, talking. We love when you guys support us, show up, and we talk on the chat with you guys. And so we're really looking forward to that.
Yep. Wednesday is the 13th.
Okay, so Wednesday the 13th will be
about 8 o'clock.
back live. We will, of course, post our episode that we record on the podcast platforms as per the norm. But if you want to catch us Wednesday,
yes,
that
tune
would be
in with
awesome.
us. I had so much fun.
Oh, I had a lot of.
I was nervous. I didn't know what to expect, but I had a lot of fun. So you all go to our YouTube, write a review, comment, subscribe. Share all of that
and
stuff.
come chat with us, you guys. We enjoy it.
We really do.
It did have a really good time.
Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry. So, Christy, what's your takeaway?
My takeaway is to let it flow.
Let it flow.
Right. Let it flow. Again, I mean, just thinking from things from a energetic perspective, energy needs to move, and not allowing it to move is not good.
Yeah.
I tell my clients this all the time, and here I am. I don't have time to cry. I'm not going to cry now.
Girl,
What's your takeaway?
I think, okay, my takeaway is that tears truly are a gift if you allow it to be. And it's always there. Yeah. And it's an indicator. It's a thermometer for what you're feeling and where you are. Seriously, you guys, allowing yourself to let it go is something so freaking beautiful about it.
And you feel better. Free. It really is. Like you just feel lighter. Ugh. Yeah.
So here's the temple work.
Ooh.
If you feel like crying, don't block it.
Don't block the tears, y'all.
You know, when we call it temple work, everybody, because it is, your temple is your body is your temple. And so when you think of a temple, that is where the spirit lives. That, you know, that is the purpose of the temple, some place for spirit to be recognized, to be held, to be praised. That is exactly what your body is. So when we give temple work, we're talking about the building and maintenance of the temple that is the beholder of the spirit that you really are. Because again, we are spiritual beings having a human experience, and sometimes we need to remind ourselves of that and make sure that our temple is tip-top shape. You know, whatever it is, however it is that temple looks for your spirit, make sure that you're creating it for you. So your temple work this week, you guys, is cry it out. So, Christy, I'm so excited about this crystal because y'all know this is one of my favorites.
Yes, this is her favorite. We've actually featured this crystal in one of our other episodes. But before we get into the crystal of the week, wanted to give a shout out to Feed Spots. This is a website for podcasts. They're ranking Two Queens and Crystal Things number 2. For the best crystal podcast out there. So you guys can follow them at podcast.feedspot.com.
I mean, thank you, Feed Spots.
Thank you, Feed Spots.
We appreciate you.
And again, but
thank you to you guys.
Right, thank you to you. And then again, leave us reviews. Let us know what you want to hear. All of that wonderful stuff. Okay, so the crystal of the week, you all. Moonstone. This stone, the element is water. The planet, of course, moon. And it's a great crystal for all the chakras. And I'm not going to go into depth with it because we've already discussed this crystal.
But you know, we have new listeners.
Oh, yeah, we do have new listeners. Okay.
Share it with the team.
I won't be selfish. I won't be selfish. Okay, so moonstone is a crystal of emotional balance, and it's a tool for divine wisdom. And so this particular crystal is often linked to divine feminine. It harnesses the energy of the moon. It helps to bring in calm, balance, and intuition to whoever works with it. If you look at Mia, she is always wearing some sort of moonstone. The crystal, it soothes emotional instability, stress, hormonal imbalances, but it also promotes this inspiration and enhances psychic abilities. And so this particular crystal, moonstone, it acts as a protective shield. You can wear it when you travel. If you want to block negativity or easy emotional trauma, that's a crystal that you want to work with. And honestly, moonstone, you can wear it as jewelry, earrings, rings, necklace. But if you keep it close while you're sleeping, tap into its energy and benefits. And I know that I think we talked about this. Do you put crystals under your pillow or underneath your bed? I don't do that now.
I have crystals under my bed.
Okay. I don't do that now. I feel like I need to, but I used to do it all the time.
I don't have moonstone under my bed right now, but I always keep a clear quartz under my bed and something else.
Okay.
So actually, I think I might either have fluorite or howlite underneath there right now.
Howlite's nice.
Yeah.
Kai likes howlite.
Yeah. I can see Kylie and howlite, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep. But it's a really great crystal. And so that is the crystal of the week.
And you guys, it's a great feminine energy stone. I love, and particularly because there are different types of moonstone.
Yeah.
But my favorite particularly is rainbow moonstone.
There's like peach moonstone.
Mm-hmm.
There's all sorts of moonstones.
I really, that's one of my favorite.
Yeah, that's your crystal, and labradorite is my crystal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
It's so
They're
funny
very
how
similar stones, though.
It's funny, but it's funny how we both like adopted,
yeah.
kind of found our stone, our crystal.
It's a beautiful stone.
Yeah.
I love this this saying which you have here. It's like there's a folk tale, I guess, that those who glance into the stone could see the goddess Diana. And that the pearly talisman would bring love and fortune to the wearer. And I'm a Cancer, y'all. I'm all about this water. It's for me, and it's a moonstone. Hello, Cancer, moon. Okay, sorry.
Yeah. So that's the crystal of the week, you guys. Just want to share that with you all. Also, thank you all for supporting this show. I want to thank Kim I think we shot her out the last episode for buying us coffee. Again, if you all want to support the show, you like the content that we're presenting, you can buy us coffee, aka wine, for this show. No contribution is too small. Again, allowing us, sending those type of donations helps us to share the content that we have. We're wanting to do video that allows us to be able to do that, because otherwise right. There's nothing coming in.
Guys, we're going on year 4.
We are going on year 4, and we actually just came out with our line of sweatshirts.
Oh, that's right. Yes. You guys, we have a lot of fun stuff going on as we're going into the new year. That's okay. We're going into it's year 4, but season 5. Mm-hmm. So and we love you guys. And again, don't forget, join us live next Wednesday, the 13th, December 13th at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time.
We're going to have fun.
And we're going to have some fun, you guys.
Yeah.
We so appreciate you as always. Thank you. And as we always say,
light,
peace, love, and
soul.
All right, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.